So good morning, everybody. Big warm welcome to you, as I always say. I hope this is a Monday morning an event on a Monday morning that you look forward to. Sally and I certainly look forward to these sessions. And what we've prepared for you today is to talk a lot about glasses, partly because we know that this is a concern for a lot of people. Many people, as they get older, need to wear glasses where they may have not have done before. I certainly need glasses for reading and for distance and watching the cinema and things like that. And so far I can get away with, I don't need them for reading. I didn't mean to say that. I need them for distance, so I don't need them for reading. But I know that some of you really struggle with makeup, particularly, detailed eye makeup and glasses. So Sally's got lots and lots of hints and tips to give you about that. And what I thought I'd start with today is talking a little bit about face shape and then talk about hair and face shape, glasses and face shape. And the other thing that I wanted to talk to you about was earrings and face shape, because the different face shape that people have mean that they sort of need slightly different hair, glasses and earrings to really complement them. I want to say loud and clear, I always say this when we're giving these kind of guidelines, I don't like to call them rules, is that they can be broken and they're not set in stone. It's a bit like colour. People say to me, well, I like yellow and I like fuchsia pink, so who are you to say that I've got to wear pink because I'm cool tone and I can't wear yellow? I'd say wear yellow if you love it. The thing is that you'll look better in certain things than others. That's the point. Not that you can't do it, but you'll just look better. So we're talking here about the considerations that you need to have in order to fully complement your look, from the point of view of whether your hair suits your face shape, your glasses suit your face shape, and your earrings do as well. Now, Bryony has got some photographs to show you so that we can actually illustrate exactly what we mean by different face shapes. So I thought we'd start with the square face shapes. So if you look at Yuta's face, what you can see is that she has got a very wide forehead. She's also got a very wide, she's very wide at her cheeks, and she's also wide at her jaw. So that the width in those three parts of her face are what are determining the fact that she's got a square face. Now you could say, well, she also has a round face, but actually she has more of a square face than a round face, because she has a very broad forehead and she has a lot of width at her jaw. So what does that mean from the point of view of making sure that she looks her absolute best? Well, you can look, first of all, it's really about her jaw. So the fact that she has such a wide jaw means that little bit of curl and lightness and delicate sort of curl at that level is actually softening the harshness of her jaw. So if you imagine that she had a straight bob, so her hair came down to her jaw length and actually then ended just dead straight, the whole thing would look even more square. So that width that she's got and the softening of that really makes a difference. One of the things that she could also do is to have a sort of like half fringe, a bit like I've got. So she could break up her forehead area. If you've got a big forehead, a soft feathery fringe, or actually bringing the hair, cutting it or having it across your forehead is actually quite a good way to soften it. When it comes to glasses, okay, so just a description for glasses. Obviously, what you're looking at with somebody with a very square face is you're looking at something that's quite angular. And so glasses, you could go to much softer, slightly rounded shapes. Yuta doesn't have she doesn't have what I call a lantern jaw. I don't know whether you know what I mean by lantern jaw, but a really, really strong, hard jaw here. But certainly if you do have angular shapes in your face, then going towards roundness and softness can help a lot to mitigate that. So what can I show you? I mean, I bought these. I don't know why I bought these. I can't remember. I'm going to put them on anyway. And I'm not necessarily suggesting that these are sunglasses actually, but obviously things that are actually have a rounded shape like this, or they are square at the top but have a rounded bottom part, is all about softening for the look of a square shaped face. And with earrings, again, if you think about earrings, then obviously what you may want to do. Okay, so we're talking again about rounded shapes. So something like this here. Now, obviously this is above the jawline. So Yutta's jawline is down here. So a rounded shape there would work really well, or even these earrings that I'm wearing here. So you're looking for something that's not too angular. So you wouldn't be looking at a sharp sort of angular shape like that, but more of a rounded shape. The next one we're going to look at is the heart-shaped face. Let's have a look at the heart-shaped face. So look at Joanna's face in contrast to Yutta's. So here we've got quite a broad forehead and across her eyes, and then her face comes down, and then she's got this quite long pointy chin. So again, if you look at the proportions of her face, if you were to measure it from her hairline to her jawline, it's definitely longer than if you measured it across the face. So her face goes, as you can see, it's broader at the forehead, and then it comes down, and then it's got this very, very definitely longish pointed chin. So look at the hair. The hair that she's got is absolutely perfect for this shape of face. So she's broken the width of her forehead down with this half fringe, and then to compensate for this very quite long, thin, pointy chin, she's got those sort of slightly flicky curls at the side, so that her whole face is balanced by her hair, her hairstyle, and so on and so forth. So if you think about that heart shape in terms of glasses, glasses need to be similar to square, the one that we just described with a square. So sort of winged at the top potentially and rounded at the bottom. If you'd like to come back to me, Bryony. Okay, I've got some sunglasses that are a bit like that. So if I put these sunglasses on, can you see how these sunglasses have got these sort of wing areas here and then rounded here? So a pair of glasses in this kind of shape would work quite well with somebody who had quite a long pointy jaw, because this softness and roundness here is balancing this sort of pointy area here. And in terms of earrings, so we're looking at, these would be perfect, because actually width, if you're adding a bit of extra width in here, then you, again, because you've got this long thin part here, the width that you're putting in with earrings like this can look amazing. So that's heart shape. Round, let's have a look at round. Eileen is interesting because actually she hasn't got, she's not got a plump face. I think we tend to think of round faces as being quite plump, and Eileen's not plump at all, and she hasn't got, she hasn't got a plump face. But if you look at the proportions of her face, if I was to measure it from hairline to jawline, and then measure the widest part of her face from ear to ear, you can see that that it would be very similar. So I could draw a circle on top of Eileen's face quite easily, and her whole face would be within that circle. Now, again, she's got a perfect hairstyle for her round face, because she's got an asymmetric cut. So it goes across the forehead slightly and then down on one side, and then she's got the other side tucked behind her ear. And that, of course, because it's asymmetric, is breaking up this whole idea of her face being quite round. Glasses wise, in terms of round, then we're looking at something that's much more rectangular and quite bold. So again, because you've got the soft round curves on a face like this, glasses really work well if they have some angularity in them. So you're looking for sharper edges, much more defined, as I said, rectangular. And that would, again, because she's got such a round face, that would actually break up that roundness and add a degree of edges, if you like. If you'd like to come back to me, Bryony. Okay, so my normal glasses that I wear for for watching the television and so on. So if you imagine on Eileen, the top part of these would be fine, but she would probably need something a little bit sharper here. So less soft and round here, so much squarer here. I haven't got a whole sort of wardrobe of glasses to be able to illustrate you, but I think you get the drift. So imagine that we're talking about this kind of shape here would really work well on her. The round face, and earrings, you can go as angular as you like. So something like this, bit, you know, bit more, even more dramatic. What else have I got here to show you in terms of angularity? These would be great. And these ones. So you're getting away from any curved or rounded edges and going towards things that are very, very much more geometric. I think in terms of the length of earring, it depends an awful lot on the length of the neck that you've got. If you've got a short neck and you're wearing long earrings, then you will make your neck look shorter. So just think about whether you've actually got the length of neck which allows you to wear earrings that, you know, something like that. If you've got a short neck, will make your neck look shorter. And if we finish with the oval one, the last one, that's Margot. The oval shape face is it is kind of perfectly symmetrical in lots of ways, and it's the face that we expect, the sort of face that children draw. It's kind of almost egg shaped. You know, that's what oval means, doesn't it? It means egg shaped. So you can see with Margot that she's got. If we measured it from hairline to jawline, it would be one measurement, and then across the face it would be a smaller measurement. So, but then it curves inwards at the top where her forehead is. So she hasn't got a wide forehead, and she hasn't got a wide jaw. So it narrows at her forehead, it narrows at her jaw, but it's widest at her cheekbones or above her cheekbones, and then it's quite long. Now it's quite interesting, this hairstyle that Margot's got. If she had a thinner face, if she had a much longer, thinner face, this hairstyle wouldn't work on her at all, because it would elongate her even more, and it wouldn't be very flattering. But what she's cleverly done, so she's got it scooped up on top, but she's left these wispy bits at the side to balance it out. So it isn't scrapped up on top. It actually softened around her face, and it actually looks really pretty. So she's created both height and width with this hairstyle. So it suits her very well. And she's got a feathery fringe, which is very nice. If you've got an oval face, then you can really get away with practically any hairstyle at all. You could imagine Margot with quite a short pixie haircut like Judi Dench, or she could wear it in a smooth bob, framing the oval of her face very successfully. So she's got lots and lots of choices with an oval face as to what she can wear. And the same is true for glasses. So you could go with an oval face, you can go bold with your glasses, oversized, you can use color and texture. You can really get away with anything in terms of glasses on an oval face, because it's not fighting, your glasses won't be fighting the, you know, your jaw being heavy, or your forehead being particularly wide or anything like that. And if you come back to me, Bryony, so again, with an oval face, you're quite lucky, because with earrings, you can go for anything. So you know, something like that. My favorite earrings. I bought these in France years ago. They've broken several times, and I've repaired them. But so long. But you can also go. You know, angular will work as well. So you've really got no restrictions on what you can wear in terms of earrings if you've got an oval face. I've got a reasonably oval face, but what has happened to me as I've got older is that I've got jowls now. So I've got these pouchy bits here. So I used to have a much, my face used to be much more like that. So I've now, you know, this bit has got heavier and has dropped. So in some ways, I suppose my face is a little bit more square than it used to be, because I've got these bits here. We were talking on Super Troopers this week about necklines, and it was Margaret Luo-Smith. I don't know whether she's in on this call, but she said she can no longer wear polar necks, because if she wears polar necks, what happens is that the polar neck comes up here, and these jowly bits really show over the edge of the polo neck, and that has happened to me as well. I no longer wear polo necks for that reason, because they just look terrible. It really draws attention. Now, if you think about necklines, then obviously the neckline that I've got on this today, V-neck, if you have got quite a heavy jaw or jowly bits, then wearing a V-neck or a scoop neck can be quite flattering. I quite like boat necks, scoop necks, those kind of necks on me actually work much better than, as I said, anything that's higher up here. It tends to draw attention to my heavy jaw, my heavier jaw than it used to be. Anyway, I think, oh gosh, I hope that didn't confuse you. I hope you found that helpful and useful. As I said, the basic rule is, and I say I don't like rule, but guideline is, if your face is soft and rounded, then go for angularity and sharpness. And if your face is angular and sharp, go for roundness. And they are the rules of thumb, really. And then the rest of it is just a question of put it on, see what it looks like. I'm sure you do that when you're buying glasses. You put them on, you see what they look like. You stand back, you look at yourself in the mirror, and you will see quite quickly whether they're balancing the features that you've got or they're unbalancing them. And what you're always aiming for when it comes to things like hair and glasses and earrings is that you are you're adding an extra dimension to your look to make it to complement it and make it look the best that you possibly can. So do ask any questions. Do put questions into the chat function if you want to, and if any of you want to show us your glasses and you know what you've gone for, what you've chosen, and why and how you think they work for you. I think that will all be very helpful to people listening and watching this, because we've got some real live examples of glasses wearers who love their glasses and think that they really complement their look. So, you know, share it if you would like to. Now I'm going to pass over to Sally, because Sally really is now going to give you all the practical demonstrations of what to do with your eye makeup and some considerations about poor eyesight and how you well, potentially get over that problem. So over to you, Sally.
Thank you, Tricia. That was really, really helpful and really useful. So good morning, everyone. As you can see, I've gone for the spring look this morning. Me and my daffodils are sort of toning, trying this lovely, beautiful, sunny day here in Guildford. So my face, just talking about face shape, I used to be a classic oval, but just like Tricia, I do have these little bits here which have created a little bit more squareness, jowly bits. So I'm sort of oval, but I have got a little bit of angularity around this area. So glasses. If you wear glasses, so I actually need glasses for long distance, but I tend to wear, because I play a lot of tennis, I do tend to wear contact lenses most of the time. However, when I can't wear my lenses, I've just got my sort of normal glasses, which are, they've got some curves, some straightness. They're not that bold because I wear my lenses a lot of the time. But I'm now at the stage where I've got what is called presbyopia, so I need to wear glasses for very close sight as well. So I'm at that difficult stage where I think a lot of ladies are, they can't see far, can't see close. And it can be a real problem when putting makeup on. If you can see really well without your glasses to put your makeup on, then I would say kind of go for it with eye makeup, bearing in mind there are a couple of rules depending on whether you are short-sighted or long-sighted, which I'll tell you about in a moment. If, however, you, and what I do, I can still put my makeup on, luckily, without having to wear glasses, but I rely heavily on a very, very good magnifying mirror. I use a ×10 mirror. And where you have your mirror and where you do your makeup actually is so important, whether you wear glasses or whether you don't. A lot of ladies I know put their makeup on in their bathrooms just because their makeup is there and it seems handy and they've got a mirror above the sink. But the light in the bathroom isn't always brilliant. So I would strongly recommend, it might be a pain, but I would strongly recommend finding somewhere where you have a window right in front of you and you have the best natural daylight sort of facing you, and you'll find that helps. So magnifying mirror, I actually use one of these sort of stick-on ones so that I can take it anywhere and stick it to my mirror. I've also got one of these, which is brilliant, which I can just fold up and take to wherever I go. You don't go anywhere at the moment, do you? But if at some point we go somewhere, it's quite nice to have a mirror with you that you can see. So that's good if you can do that. The other thing that I have tried, now some ladies think they're brilliant, some ladies think they are absolutely useless. I don't know if any of you have used these. These are sort of rotating makeup glasses. So you can basically, you can get them in different prescriptions. You can buy them online. So you can do one eye and you can turn around and do the other eye. They take a little bit of getting used to. Some ladies say they don't work. It depends very much on your own personal prescription, whether they will work for you. But it's like sort of turning on one eye and keeping the other eye so you can see. But they have worked for me. I've tried them. They're a little bit weird, but you know, it might be worth. They're not very expensive. So that's another option you could try. Somebody told me about a company. It's an American company called Specs Up that actually have made something that's got these little, they're basically two nose pads and a clip. So what it does is it clips onto your nose and holds your own glasses slightly away from your eyes, not too far away, but so that they don't drop down. They're sort of held at the right level for your eyes, and so that you can actually still get in there and do your makeup. I haven't used them, so I can't guarantee whether they work, but some of the reviews online for them, specsup.com, they found that they might work, so it could be something to look at if you really struggle. Finally, if at the other end of the spectrum you just find it impossible to put eye makeup on and you cannot see and you have to have your glasses on and magnifying mirrors don't work, then I would say what I would suggest is you keep your eye makeup either really, really simple. I'm going to do a simple eye makeup in a moment. And maybe you emphasize other things. It could be that you make your glasses frame your eye makeup. Just like if you've seen Prue Leith. Prue Leith is a great example of wearing the most amazingly bold eye makeup, glasses frames in all different colours. And in fact, you don't really notice her eye makeup, but what you do notice is her amazingly bold, strong lipstick, her lovely hair. She's got lovely skin, and you know, it all works. And she's using her frames as her eye makeup. So that is another thing you can do. You can actually sort of not worry too much about your eye makeup, but make the rest of your makeup work really well and make your frames your sort of focal point. So that's something else. Now, how are you going to do? What I've done so far is I've put my foundation on and I've put a little bit of concealer on my face. I haven't put any concealer around my eyes, but I want to talk you through a few tips. Now, the first thing to know is that if you are short-sighted, so you can see close up, but you can't see at distance, depending on your prescription, your glasses lens might actually make your eyes look slightly smaller. And vice versa. So if you are long-sighted, so you can see a long way away but you cannot see close up, then sometimes lenses can make your eyes look really large. So you have to take that into consideration when you're putting eye makeup on to a degree, depending again on the prescription, and you'll probably know yourself. So if you are short-sighted and your eyes are going to look a little bit smaller, you don't want to wear really dark eyeshadows to make them look even. Remember we talked the other week about dark pushing back and light bringing forward. So you can keep it all a little bit lighter and fresher. Eyeliner is a good question. I still quite like, if I can, with my glasses on, to put some eyeliner on using the shadow eyeliner, but don't bring it all the way around, which will close the eye up. But I think a little bit of eyeliner, particularly on the top, if you can do it, if you can manage to see to do that, is a really good thing to do. So our no shimmer eye shades work really well behind glasses because they're not too shimmery, they don't reflect too much. But the lid colour that we talked about as well, that, although it's a teeny bit shimmery, that also works well for a lot of ladies. So if you're putting glasses on, some ladies struggle with the bridge of the glasses making a red dent on their nose. If that's you and your glasses are fairly tight and when you take them off you get a bit of redness here, can I suggest you try the green colour balance corrector? Just a little bit of green before you put your foundation on the area that's going to maybe go a little bit red, will counterbalance that. So that's the first thing. And the other thing to do is to think about concealer. If your glasses cast a little bit of a shadow on your face, you might want to put a little bit more concealer or a little bit of a lighter concealer or even a slightly lighter foundation on the areas that are where the shadow is cast. So I'm going to I've put concealer on to my various places here. The other thing I have done only are I've done my brows. Really important that your brows are good when you're wearing glasses. So I'm going to use a little bit of concealer under my eye. Do this in this area, always bring that little bit, because that goes a little bit bluey. I'm actually using a slightly lighter concealer again. This is the number 1. I usually use a number 2, but I'm just going to put, just to sort of show you, you might want to get away with something a little bit lighter if you wear glasses. So I'm just dabbing that on. Now, if you find it really hard to put your eyeshadow on with glasses, then I still suggest that you try to put on the eye prime. Now, I know a lot of ladies still struggle with the eye prime and say that it goes a little bit bitty. If you're finding that, first of all, make sure that the eye prime is going onto dry lids. So this is a smooth out eye prime. I've got little bits of veins and discoloration on my eyelids. So I always use this. And as I said before, you could even use it without putting eyeshadow on. If you're struggling with it, put about half the amount on that you maybe put on. That's my tip with it. Just put a tiny bit on. So I'm only going to put just a little bit out there and there. What I'm now going to do is take my concealer brush, number 4, and blend it in. And what this will do is smooth out any fine lines. It will get rid of the discoloration that I have, and a lot of ladies have, and it just makes the eye shadow stay on without creasing, which is really important, particularly if you are wearing glasses that magnify your eye area slightly. You don't want to magnify any creases on eyeshadow. So that has already just, and it hasn't gone at all bitty. If there's any oil at all on the eye, it might go a little bit bitty. So just make sure your eyelids are completely clean and dry before you put it on. And if you struggle, just put less on. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to use a wash. Now I'm wearing a teal colour. I just want to show you another pair of glasses. These are one of my quite slightly funky reading glasses. They're my round ones. You can see the colour of these. So I've actually got some teal, some sort of warm colour. Because I'm warm, that's the other thing, to think about the colour of your frames in relation to how warm or cool you are. That can make a big difference. It will blend with your colouring. So I am going to actually go for something very, very simple. I'm going to use our teal green colour. So it's not a colour that I always wear all over, but just for a quick makeup. Even though I've got blue eyes, this suits both warm and cool. It's quite a nice, just a bit of a fun colour, a nice spring colour. So all I'm going to do is put it all over my eyelid. Now, even if I can hardly see, I can kind of just about do this because I'm not doing it in any particular precise way. What I'm not doing is bringing it all down here. I don't want it down the side of my face because that will drag my eye down. We've done other videos, other calls, Zoom calls about hooded eyes and different shaped eyes, and that still applies when you're wearing your glasses. I am just doing something just to show you something really quick that will just look as though I've made a bit of an effort on my eyes, but not spent hours doing it. So I'm using the eyeshadow blender brush just to put it all over my lid and just above my socket line, but not too high. It's a really pretty sort of fresh colour. It works really well with a lot of eye colours. Now, so that's my teal. Now, if you are able, as I said earlier, if you're able to use the wedge brush to put a little bit of eyeliner on, particularly for me, I actually find this works quite well. And I'm going to use colour that I don't think I've shown you before, or me. It's forest green, which is a dark green, which will hopefully work quite well with my glasses and what I'm wearing. So I'm taking it onto my wedge brush 8, just taking the excess off. Again, this does not need to be done brilliantly, perfectly and precisely because it's a powder. But what I'm going to do is slightly wing it up, just to, so it goes up at the edge, and then I'm going to just bring it across the top, about halfway, not all the way across, to just make my lashes look a little bit fuller behind my glasses. So bringing it in as close as I can, doesn't have to be perfect. You may or may not want to put eyeliner underneath your lashes, on the bottom lashes, if you wear glasses. Sometimes it can look a little bit too harsh, but you can just experiment. Or you might want to put one on underneath that's not quite as dark as forest. Forest green is quite a dark green. So again, if you struggle with this eye, like I sometimes do, bring your finger to your nose to create a nice smooth area. And I'm bringing it, winging it up, and just blending it. So it's slightly lifting my eye. Forest green is really pretty. Now, if you have got a cool colouring, you might want to, instead of using teal, you might want to use pewter and maybe charcoal or pewter all over, and maybe midnight blue as your eyeliner. Another colour I could have used is cocoa. I could have put cocoa all over my lid and used chocolate. That was another thought that I decided, but I thought I'll go green, I'll go spring-like today as it's such a lovely sunny day. So that is my eyeliner. So it's not perfect, it's not amazingly sort of precise, but hopefully it will work. I'm going to put just a tiny amount on the bottom, but not very much, just to give me a little bit of definition, but this is not essential. And that's a lot easier to do on the bottom than it is on the top, because you can just keep your eyes open, get right to the base of the lashes. I'm only going about a third of the way along. So I started to look a little bit more alive. So what am I going to do now? I am going to put some mascara on. If you wear glasses, if you can get a little bit of mascara on, it does make a difference. What you don't want to do is wear a really thick, voluminous, sort of spidery mascara, because that can look very obvious under glasses. So you actually want something like, the Look Fabulous Forever mascara is brilliant because it doesn't do that. It doesn't make your lashes go clumpy or spidery or look false. But if you are able to do the eyelash curling, which we talked about the other week, that is a really good thing, good trick to do with glasses, because again, it will just open them, open your lashes a little bit. So I'm just not doing it really long enough. Ideally, you need to hold it for 10 seconds, but I'm just going to do that. Mascara, let me get my mascara. I'm going to use black. I'm going to use waterproof mascara. And again, just if you are able to put mascara on, even if you can't see, if you can just get it onto the tips of the lashes, it really does frame the eyes. My eyes look quite different once I've got my mascara on. So sort of wiggle it through, blink onto it, really helps to finish off any eye makeup. I'm going to do the other eye that way around. So I'm sort of blinking onto the mascara brush, wiggle it just a little bit in those corners. Again, you may not want to put mascara on the bottom lashes, depending on your prescription and whether your eyes are going to look too magnified, or sometimes it's best to keep eye makeup fairly simple and clean, but you can play around. If you're wearing completely rimless glasses and the glasses don't have a frame, then obviously I would say go to town with your eye makeup if you can see to do that, because you haven't got the frame then. but I actually, if you can see, to put eye makeup on under glasses, I think it looks really nice and balanced. So I'm going to put just a tiny bit, not much, a teeny bit on the bottom. What I haven't done is I haven't put any colour, I haven't put any blusher on, and I haven't put any lips on. And I've done that for a reason, because depending on the size of your glasses, you need to know where to put your blusher. One last thing I'm going to show you just before I move on to blusher. This is the green lid colour. We talked about light colours bringing forward. Because my glasses might make my eyes look a tiny bit smaller. If you want to use a lid colour, again, I'm just putting a tiny dot of the green in the centre, there and there. So this is a really pretty one. It is called Soft Moss. And then I'm just going to, with my finger, just blend it slightly. And that will just, without it looking scarily shiny, under glasses it's quite pretty to do that. You could do it with the golden mist, or if you are cooler, the lilac one is really pretty, the silver mist. So that is the eyes. Two more things. So blusher. If I show you my eyes, my glasses. So what you don't want to do is to put your blusher too high. If you've got larger glasses, so even my round ones, which I have now put down somewhere, here they are. These are a bit larger, so I don't want my blusher to be showing through the lens. So if you're going to put blusher on, put your glasses on and think, right, where does my blusher need to be so that it's not right here? So I am going to use the peach blush, which I love. I think this was out of stock, but I think it's back in stock now. I'm very excited about that. So peach blush, I'm just going to put it on, and it's really nice to have a bit of colour to balance, particularly if you've got colour in your frames. So I'm doing it in sort of a teardrop shape, both sides. I do love this blusher. It's one of my favourite all-time blushers in the whole wide world. It's so easy to use, it's so easy to build up. It doesn't look as though it's sitting on, it doesn't look as though it's sinking in. So I'm just going to blend it a little bit with a brush. I'm going to also just put a tiny bit, you know, I like putting a tiny bit of my bronzer over the top of this one, just to give me a tiny bit more colour. I am so pale at the moment, I need to get some sunshine. We all need some sunshine. I need to get a little bit of getting away from being in lockdown. So I feel then that it starts to come together. I've sort of got a little bit of colour that balances with my glasses. If you want to use a bit of highlighter, so find out where your frame ends, and you know it's sort of here. So I'm going to put my highlighter there, just above my cheekbone. I also like, as you know, to put it just underneath my eyebrow, just to bring that bit forward. So just a little bit. So it does make a difference when you're wearing glasses where you put products, just to make sure that you're not emphasizing them too much behind your glasses. A little bit up here, but I am going to put a little bit down my nose, as I always do. A little stripe down my nose. And that is kind of very, very simple. So what I'm going to do now is my lips. I definitely need something on my lips. And this is where, if you are wearing really bold frames, think of Prue Leith, she wears amazingly bold lipstick. In fact, she gets away with all sorts of colours. She has slight warmer and cooler. So I think she's a fairly neutral. She can get away with both, and it seems to work amazingly well. So if you've got a very bold frame, say you've got a very bold frame that's in orange, let's say, so you're very, very brave, I would potentially still go with a toning lipstick. So I wouldn't go for a fuchsia lipstick unless you are deliberately going for that, for the clashing bold look. But I've sort of gone for a slightly warmer look, and my glasses are slightly warmer, my frame's in colouring. So I'm actually going to use today our Amber. So it's a new-ish lipstick. for warms, quite pretty colour. I haven't yet, I should have done, put a little bit of my lip prime. So just on the outer edge to stop feathering and bleeding. As I said before, you can do this really well. I'm not going to do it with a lip brush today to save time, but I would suggest you do use a lip brush because you want your lips to look really good if you wear glasses. It's the whole thing about balancing. If you're wearing, some ladies say, oh, if I'm wearing really bold frame, shouldn't I wear an understated lipstick? Not necessarily. I think it's all about balance actually, and I think sometimes it's really quite nice to keep the balance of the lips with the frame. So let me put on my amber. This is actually a really pretty warm colour. I'm also going to just show you another, just because the sun's come out. This is the sort of suits both warms and cools. It's a gorgeous gloss lip shine in Summer Blaze. So this will change the colour of this, but I just want to show you it because it's quite fun. It's quite vibrant. And it's just going to change it slightly, but I quite like glosses. Oh gosh, a little bit too much on there. See, the colour has changed. Let me just show you with my glasses on that hopefully you'll see that it's not a strong eye makeup at all. It's fairly minimal, but it just looks as though I've done something. I've gone quite strong now on my lips and I've got a little bit of colour. Let's just put the other one on as well to show you the funky one. The funky one. Brows, really important to make sure your brows are groomed. We talked about that in one of the videos, and using the bring back brow shape makes a massive difference as well. Depending on where your glasses sit, often your glasses will sit so that you can still see your brows. Occasionally they'll sit so you can't see your brows, but I'll show you one other pair that are completely different that I've had for quite a long time. This is a completely different look. My very thin sort of glasses, but again you can see that the brows there really do show. So hopefully that's given you a few tips, and it's much nicer, I tell you, than last week. It's much nicer ending up with makeup on than it is ending up with makeup off as we did last week. So thank you.
Fantastic,
Okay.
Sally. Thank you so much. That was brilliant illustration. And one of the things that we wanted to show you in that was that if you haven't got particularly good eyesight, doing a simple wash of colour is quite easy to do if you can't see very well. You could, so it's almost done by feel. I might experiment one day and see if I could do my makeup without looking in a mirror. Oh, might do that on screen or something, but then I've got a screen to look at. But I suspect that after 50 plus, possibly nearer 60 years of putting a makeup on practically every day, that I could do a fairly good job of applying my makeup without being able to see what I'm doing. But this whole idea of using a biggish brush and then just putting I've done a wash of colour, I've done pewter today. It's not that difficult. You're not looking for accuracy, you're not looking for precision, but you still get a lovely effect, as you can see on Sally. And then after you've put it on, you just take a clean brush and just blend it really well. And that way it will look great, actually, it really will. And then this idea of pushing that lash line, again, you don't need precision. You're not going for a sharp, hard, really precise line. So because you're not going for precision, you can almost sort of do it like this. So you can feel yourself rubbing that against the edge of your lashes, put your glasses on, have a look, or go into your magnifying mirror and really check it. But the whole idea of that demonstration was to try and help you, if you really do find it difficult to see clearly when you're putting your makeup on, to do something simple that still looks lovely. And of course you can hopefully do your eyebrows with your glasses on, because they're above your glasses. And then mascara, I think mascara is quite easy to apply without seeing what you do. It's like I can put lipstick on without looking in a mirror. again, it's just practice, isn't it? So that was what that demonstration was intended to help you to see, that if you have eyesight issues, that you can still put some colour on your eyes, and it looks great. So I think we're probably at the point now where we take some questions. So Brian, if I come to you, what questions have we got?
So Jane would love to know, have you got any tips for women that wear varifocals?
I know nothing about varifocals. Do you, Sally?
Well, no, I was off. In fact, I was offered them by my optician at one point, and I declined. So you've got the so varifocals basically allow you to see long and far. I think you have to just experiment with the whole magnifying mirror and seeing whether you can, what you can see without your glasses on with a magnifying mirror. That would be my advice. Obviously, everyone's different with their prescription. I have just found with a really good ×10 magnifying mirror, getting up close, it's actually very scary what you can see. It's too scary. And sometimes I think, oh my goodness, I'm actually better when I can't see, and it's much, much softer. So you could ask your optician, you could pretend, yeah, because obviously you can't get these in maybe looking at the specs up ones that I talked about, the ones that you could just keep slightly further away. Maybe have a look online and see what you think of that. Specs up, you can get them, even though they're in America, you can get them through Etsy, and they work out, I think they're about £20, but you've got to pay postage, £12 from the USA. Have a look at those.
Perfect. Okay. And do Look Fabulous Forever sell a magnifying mirror?
We used to. I've got a feeling that we run out.
Yeah, I don't think we do anymore, but I'm sure you can get one exactly the same. This was my Look Fabulous one, which I loved, but I don't think you've got them anymore, but you can get very, very similar ones online if you just type in.
We must have had supply problems with that mirror because we didn't restock. You know, sometimes you have all sorts of issues, and there must have been some kind of issue with that magnifying mirror. So we had it for a while. The thing about magnifying mirrors is it's a joke, isn't there? Like we get more wrinkled as we get older, but our eyesight declines at the same rate, so that we can't see them or something. So it's the magnifying mirror. You look in and you go, oh my god. It's when you see the hair as well, you know, you're sort of tight, you think, you know, this is ghastly. I've got all these hairs around here, because you can see them in the magnifying mirror. Any other questions, Brian?
Yes. Margaret would love to know, as a cool person, what would be an alternative to using teal on the lash line?
On the lash line?
On the eyelid, do you mean?
Yeah.
Cool charcoal. Sorry, on the lid would be something like the pewter would work really, really well. Soft grey would also work well.
Bluebell.
Sorry? Bluebell, beautiful. I love Bluebell on cools. Absolutely. Any of those would work really well. Or the lilac mist. If you want a lighter look, that would be really nice.
Have a look on our website. Does divide our eyeshadow colours down into cool tone and warm tone. So just have a look on those cool tone ones and see what you like the look of. You could actually, that teal colour that Sally was using as a crossover colour, really. That can work beautifully on people who are, especially if you've got brown eyes. And
yeah, it's a lovely colour. Definitely could wear it on cools and warms.
Perfect. Jill would love to know, if you were to wet the forest green eyeshadow, would that make it last longer as a liner, or would it just make it bolder? I find, to be fair, that even dry, as long as I've got some makeup underneath, so if I just put the dry powder on a completely naked eye, then it doesn't last. But because I've got the eye prime on, it's got something to adhere to. If you put it on wet, just make sure, if you're going to do it wet, just make sure that the brush is only very slightly damp, and that can work. It just makes it a little bit bolder, but I don't find that it necessarily keeps it on any longer. It stays on pretty well. Okay. Perfect.
The wet dry with the eyeshadow, I think if you're used to using gel eyeliners or a sharper effect for eyeliner, then if you wet it, you can get a slightly more defined line. I am now at the point in my life where that defined line doesn't work on me anymore because my eyelids are too crepey. So I actually prefer to use it dry so that I can actually smudge it, so it actually looks smudgier, because I think it's more flattering on my eye than that very sharp. I always think of, you know, very young girls, sort of like in their late teens, 20s, who go for that really, really sharp black line, perhaps
Black
with
cat flick, yes.
yeah, a cat, you know, cat flick at the end there. That's a look that really only works on beautifully smooth young skin, and then it looks amazing. And I think the older you get, the less you have to move, you know, the more you have to move away from that look. It just looks hideous. And actually, if you try it, all you know, you end up with something that looks bumpy and a bit tragic. Terrible thing to say, but you know what I mean. Whereas you can still get that thickened lash look, which is what eyeliners are for, so much more easily, and also using the little wedge brush and then a darker shadow, and it actually looks great. You saw it with Sally as she applied it. It just looks lovely, and it, you know, slightly changes the shape of your eyes, and it really works, and it's not difficult to do, which is really, really important. Anything else, Bryony?
Yes, just a final one for Sally. A couple of people asking, why did you put the strip of highlighter down your nose? What was the effect you were trying to achieve?
It kind of slims the nose because light colours bring forward. So it's kind of bringing that bit of my nose forward, which will kind of, so I wouldn't do it if I had a really, really narrow nose, but it's just something that's a little makeup trick, light bringing forward.
Amazing, thank you.
Like you can also put, as I said, sometimes if you want to push your nose and make it shorter, a little bit of bronzer on the tip of your nose pushes it back.
Perfect.
I think we did that in a video. We did it in a video, was it a couple of times ago? I can't remember when we did. We were talking about where and how to use highlighter.
Yes.
It's the illusions that you can create on your face with highlighter, that your face looks dewier, and then you make your nose look slightly shorter, and then you could put it into these, you know, these frown lines that we've got in the middle here, to lessen how they look, and so on and so forth. Lots of tricks and tips and things that we gave you. Anyway, I think we're at the end of time. How are we doing? Yes, it's very much our hour is nearly up. So I do hope that was helpful to all of you. Let me tell you about the programme for the rest of the week, just in case you're interested. Tomorrow we've got a treat for you. Do come and join us. We've got Gail Rolfe, who's a fashion editor. She's doing some work with Platinum magazine at the moment. So she's got, you know, she's got a fantastically long history of knowledge and awareness of fashion, and so she's going to be talking about what to look for in, you know, in this sort of coming up, what's going to be fashionable. I don't know about you, but I am desperate to buy something new to wear. I'm so sick and tired of all my clothes in my wardrobe. This happens to me every year, actually, which doesn't mean to say that I'm going to spend a huge amount of money, but I would just love a couple of new things to put on. So I'm going to have a chat with Gail tomorrow at 4 o'clock. It's going to be a live call, so she can take your questions, and you know, we're going to find out what's going on in the fashion industry, and also what we need to be looking out for. On Wednesday, we've got Leonie, wonderful healthy food. Again, we've got ratatouille and beef mince as a dish, and I've requested chocolate ice cream. So she's got a way of making ice cream that's really healthy. Who knew? So that's exciting, and that's on Wednesday. On Thursday, I'm very much hoping that I'll be able to do Tone Up with Lindsay. As I said, I've really did my back in on Saturday, not by doing anything too strenuous, it just went. I don't know whether you have backs that go every now and again. So I've been in a fair degree of pain over the weekend. It is better this morning. So I am hoping to be able to do that session. If I can't do it, I'll just put it off until next week. We're going to look at core. And on Friday, we've got the film The Assistant for the Film Club. So if you want to watch that film beforehand and come along and join our discussion, we would love to have you. We've now got a hardcore of about 20 people that make that every Friday, and it's just turning into the most brilliant discussion group of very intelligent and aware women, which I love. I really love the fact that my week is framed by Makeup Magic on Monday and Film Club on Friday, and gives me something to look forward to. So again, thank you for joining us. Love to have your company, and I do hope that's giving you some inspiration and ideas. Thank you, Bryony, for doing all the techie stuff, and thank you to Sally for your contribution. And goodbye, everybody, and see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.